Great leaders know how to make connections. They know how to develop a network. They know how to do what I call strategic networking. So let's say you're in this leadership role and there are people that you need to meet. You can actually write the names of the people that you need to meet. And then you think about, well, what would happen if I did nothing? Would these 5 people come find me? Probably not. You need to take the initiative to go find those people. So that's being strategic in making the connections. Now, the next C is this thing called competence. And I never used to talk about competence. I used to assume, you know what they say about assuming? I used to assume that people were competent. But then Hurricane Katrina hit the United States. And after Hurricane Katrina hit, we started to hear about the local government, the state government, the federal government, all pointing fingers at each other, placing blame, and this whole issue of competence kind of rose to the surface. I started to think about leadership and competence. What is competence? Do we have competence? Do you have people working in your organization and you would be quick to say they're not competent? Maybe they were a bad hire. Has anyone ever had a bad hire? Oh, that gets really ugly really fast, right? So what is this competence? What do we mean by competence? And I think it's these 4 things. First, we have to look at, do we have the proper education? So that's pretty simple. Did the person go to school, get licensed, get certified with whatever it is they need? A next issue is experience. How much experience is enough experience? Do they have any experience? A skill set. Now, I do work a lot with healthcare clients, and I am consistently hearing the phrase, they're clinically excellent, but. And you have to be clinically excellent. If you weren't clinically excellent, you would never be in this room. You would never be where you are today. Is it enough? Is it enough to lead others? No. You need those good communication skills, those phenomenal listening skills. You need coaching skills. You need mentoring skills. You need management skills. Right? We're consistently developing our skill set. Are you a lifelong learner? I know you are because you're here, right? It's the people that didn't come that we're worried about. But the people that are here are clearly lifelong learners. All you need is the courage to believe in yourself and put one foot in front of the other. As nurse leaders, you guys need courage. And I know that you could tell me stories about courage. What do you need courage to do every day in your job? You need courage to change direction. You need courage to decide, you know what? We thought this was the right thing to do, but in looking at it a second time, maybe we need to try something else, right? So you need courage to do that. You need courage to fire, and I'm not going to sugarcoat the word, to fire a nice person that isn't doing their job. And there are so many stories of people that are not doing their jobs, and you sit down and you have that performance discussion, and then for 6 months they're on their best behavior, right? You think everything is fine, and then all of a sudden their behavior goes down into the toilet again, and then you have that other performance. Does anybody know what I'm talking about here? So I have a friend, her name is Sue O'Boyle. She's a senior nursing officer for Orange Regional Medical Center. I think the world of her. She is a phenomenal role model. And I went out to lunch with Sue, and we talked a lot about this issue. And she told me about the first time she had to fire someone, how scared she was, how she didn't want to do it. Because, you know, nurses are usually pretty nice people. And we don't like to do that kind of stuff. But she goes, today? She goes, I could fire anybody. Now, does she like to do that? Absolutely not. Is it part of your job? It absolutely is. So you need the courage to do that. What else do you need to do as a leader? You need to be what I call a champion of change. Now, I'm not talking about announcing a change. I'm talking about leading, pulling, pushing, helping move people through change. The only thing we can really say about change is it's constant and it's inevitable, right? I mean, that's it. That's all we really know about change. It's constant and it's inevitable. And organizations get themselves in trouble when they do things like announce a change. They get everybody together. They have a meeting. They say, folks, there's going to be a big change coming. And they say what the change is, and then the meeting's over. And they expect everybody to just be okay with it. Well, it doesn't work that way, right? There's fallout from the change. Your job is to pick up those pieces and move people through the change. The next C is communication. And communication is like a given. If you can't communicate well, you will never be an effective leader. And communication, by the way, is not sending an email. Communication is creating understanding. In communication, you have sending, which could be speaking, right? Could be writing an email, writing a report, but you also have receiving, right? Receiving is listening, receiving is understanding, receiving is getting it. And then these two things have to go together for understanding. So communication can be a little complicated. There's two pieces. And sometimes leaders say, well, I communicated, I sent an email, I had a meeting, I wrote a memo, we had a webinar, we had a town hall meeting. That's just speaking, that's just sending. Are you sure everybody got it? Are you sure everybody understood it? Right? Another C is your commitment. What is your commitment to the organization? What is your commitment to the profession? What is your passion around what you're doing? And sometimes commitments change. Now, there's different levels of commitment. And the best example I can use is a diet. Monday morning, you wake up, you say, that's it. I'm fed up. I'm exercising. I'm eating well as of today. Right? Where's your level of commitment? You're good Monday. You're good Tuesday, you're good Wednesday, you get on the plane, you go to Vegas, that steward or stewardess is saying, would you like a drink? And you're thinking, no, I'm going to be good. I was good for 3 days, right? I'm going to be good. You check into the hotel, you walk by the lobby. Has anyone seen that dessert counter with the cheesecakes and the chocolate mousse? And you're like, well, I've been good for 3 days, so what's a piece of cheesecake going? And that's it. Your commitment's gone. 3 lousy days. That's all you lasted, right? What is your level of commitment? And finally, character as a leader. And wouldn't it be a wonderful world if we all had someone like Mother Teresa that we could aspire to be like in terms of value and character and ethics and integrity. But it's such a critical issue today. What is your code of behavior? And, Cole said this. He thanked his family. And you talked about values, and you talk about the way you were brought up. And personally, I think, you either have it or you don't. It's like there's right and there's wrong. Right? And we know right when we see it, and we know wrong when we see it, and we know a right behavior and a wrong behavior. So I'd like to leave you with one final thought, because I'm between like you and a cocktail, and I realize that. Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So if you think that you can be a phenomenal leader, to be a role model, to be the next Cole, and maybe next year you will be up here receiving this award, you will be. God bless you. Thank you for listening.